Northern Virginia. This is Nova Weekend Warriors, focused on those runners, cyclists, athletes, outdoor enthusiasts, and fans of fitness in the Northern Virginia area. I'm Meg Donnelly, a licensed massage therapist in Herndon, Virginia, focused on those weekend warriors. Today, it is my pleasure to welcome Liz Kamp. She's a local mom of three. She's a certified personal trainer, and she's the owner of New Trail Cycling Studio at Plaza in Reston, which is opening late summer or early fall. Liz has been working with the fitness industry since 2003. She has a passion for helping others and a passion for improving people's lives through fitness. Liz, welcome.
Thanks, Meg. Happy to be here.
When I asked you about topics that might be interesting to discuss today, I was so excited for your response. You said one of the things that you are most passionate about is making the shift from fitness for a good body to fitness for fun and health. I love this for so many reasons, but can you tell me a little bit more about this?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's really kind of about the larger shift away from perfectionism and towards self-acceptance. I think we live in a time where there's a lot of pressure to be accelerating in your career, to be the perfect parent, to have the perfect body. And if we can take away some of the stress and some of the pressure, then I think we'll just be living a better, more enjoyable life. And to me, I think the benefit of fitness is just reaches far beyond the physical benefits. So if we can focus on fitness for fun and for wellness, then the great body is a byproduct of that. I just think it's something that we can take off our plate and take away some of the stress by turning it into something fun. So I think it's an important thing, and it's something that I have been working on myself for a long time. So I want to sort of share that with other people.
Yeah. So tell me, because this has been a personal struggle for you in the past. Can you share a little bit about your story?
Yeah, I think from a young age, I struggled with body image. And I think that being a young woman who was an athlete and into sports and fairly naturally fit, I felt like there was too much of a tie of my identity of who I was too tied to what I looked like and what my physical abilities were. And so I think, I had two times in my life where injuries really forced me to be grateful for the function of my body. And one of those times was in high school. I played tennis and had a shoulder injury that knocked out my senior year season. And when something like that happens to you, I think you realize that there's more to your body than what it looks like. And then after I had kids, I had severe ab separation called diastasis recti. And that prevented me from doing the things I love, like running around with my kids or running in races and being as active as I liked. And both of those times really forced me to look at how I saw my own body and what I was doing to help it on the whole, as a whole. So I don't want others to have an injury, to learn not to take their bodies for granted. That's sort of why I'm in the industry and trying to help people find ways to take that pressure off themselves.
Yes. So share with me some of the tips that have worked for you.
Yeah, I think, realizing no one is perfect and focusing on that in some ways. Comparison will make you miserable. And I think that unfortunately, we are living in a time where it's incredibly easy to compare yourself to lots of people who you really don't know what their lives are like. So, referring obviously to social media, if you are following someone that is not lifting you up and you are finding you're hard on yourself because you're looking at them and saying, oh, I don't have, the abs that person does, then stop following them. You need to find things and people who are lifting you up, not making you feel worse about yourself. And I think along with that, I try to remind myself that I need to treat myself like I would treat my best friend. So if you are finding yourself thinking negative things about your body or anything along those lines, would you say that to your best friend? Probably not. So
right.
there's no reason to treat ourselves any differently. And then also, I think actively pushing, negative thoughts away and being grateful for what you have. Lots of times I think in conversation, it's I don't like this aspect of my body. Well, then stop yourself and say, you know what? I may not be super comfortable with that, but at the same time, I can run a mile or I can walk a mile. And a lot of people can't do that. So let's focus on the positive things that our body can do. I think if you start shifting to your mindset toward being grateful for what you have and not necessarily looking to what other people have, it can get you in the right mindset.
Yeah, it just pushes you in the right direction. And I think that that's huge because I think for everyone, right? It's like if something bad is going on and you just hang out in that place of negativity, you're only going to bring on more negativity. But if you can find something positive that's coming out of an experience per se, you're going to be able to find more positivity and find ways to kind of get out of that. For me, it's different for everyone, but just speaking strictly for me. And I think in fitness, it's the same way, right? If instead of saying to ourselves, right, and we're so a lot of us are so competitive. I mean, I've spent my entire life comparing myself to someone else and saying, well, they run faster than me, or they do this, or they're able to get out, 5 times a week, and I can only get out 3 times a week. Or right. I've been doing it for the same amount of time as they have. Why are they doing more? And if I just say, hey, man, I got up today and I thought I was going to go for a walk and I ended up running half the time. Or
right.
My plan was to, push 100 pounds on the chest press and I made it to 120. Don't set yourself up for failure. I think that's
exactly.
Yeah. So now I didn't mention it earlier, but you were the fitness specialist for the Herndon Parks and Recreation Department. And before that, you have been teaching group fitness since college. Can you tell me a little bit more about now cycling you've become really passionate about that. So how has cycling become such an important piece of fitness for you, especially given you have such a wide range of activities that you've taught, that you've done yourself, that you've excelled at? Why cycling?
Yeah, cycling has been sort of a part of my fitness life since I was in high school. And it really has been something up until now that I have not been able to share with people from a leadership side. Back in high school, during that time that I was injured and I was rehabbing my shoulder and found myself working out in a gym. And the cycling room was one of the places where I felt completely comfortable. To be in a dark room where you can't compare yourself to other people. You're in a dark room and you're feeding off the energy of everyone else in the room. It's just a very safe sort of Zen place. And at the same time, you can obviously get a great workout. So in the different places where I have taught and worked previously, we haven't had indoor cycling. So my goal was always to create a brick and mortar where it was very motivating, body positive, friendly, not intimidating environment. And when it came down to deciding exactly where to start, cycling was sort of the natural fit. I think that
Yes.
really is a great space for people to come in and gain confidence and be comfortable. So yeah, that's why I'm opening New Trail, and I'm excited to finally share that with other people.
Yes. And it's funny because I always jokingly call it bubble training, but I love when I can train in my safe little bubble, right? I'm on one machine. There's a set timed program, whether it's a cycling class or working on a program on a universal strength trainer, something that I can claim it's mine for the whole time, for the whole session. No one hovering over me, no one waiting, no one's watching me and comparing me. I'm not comparing myself to someone else. And I think that's one of the worst experiences in fitness. And it's really far too common. It's when I've come somewhere to work out. to feel better about myself, whether it's mentally, physically, both, whatever. I walk in, I'm intimidated by the people around me. I hop on a machine to machine to machine, hoping no one is figuring out that I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing, and because it's not the machine I'm used to. And then lo and behold, someone comes up and says, hey, how many reps do you have left? And I swear they're looking at me and judging me. Granted, that's not the case, right? It's probably more so that they're just in their routine and genuinely asking for timing purposes. But that intimidation factor is already there. So when we can take that away and make it accessible and make it body positive, I think that's amazing. So I love the concept of what I call bubble training.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's great for exercise to be an escape. You know, in a lot of ways, it's a break from our day and from the grind. And so to have it be in an environment where someone is telling you exactly what to do, you don't need to think about what's coming next. You don't have to worry about what people are doing next to you. You can really get in the zone. Then I think it actually is a mental break as well, which is great.
Totally. We touched on it briefly, but your studio is opening either late summer or early fall. Can you tell me a little bit about the studio? And we've touched on it a little bit because you talked a little bit about how the program will differ, but can you talk about the studio? Can you talk about the program?
Yeah, so we will have it set up with a per class fee, so you can sort of drop in as you like. And we'll have classes throughout the day. And what people will be able to do, what's neat about it is they can schedule their bike online. So on Sunday, you can go on, book all of your bikes for the week if you like, and that will link your specific bike to your account. So if you have a particular bike you like, you can just click on that one, select it, that will link your console. So after your workout, you'll get an email saying how you did during your workout, what your numbers are. We will not have a leaderboard up in the studio, so you're not going to be comparing your statistics to somebody else, but you can compete against yourself. So you'll see, hey, in today's class, I hit this average on my watts, but last week I was here, so next week my goal will be 10 more than that. So it will save all of your information, which I think is really great for people who really want to track their progress or track their training.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's empowering too, right? Because then I see what I did last time versus what I do this time. And it brings a lot of awareness. So even if you're a little bit slower one time, it brings awareness to like, hey, what was going on that day? What was,
exactly.
Yeah, I love that. And I don't think that, I think that's one of the things that is missing and just starting to kind of like rise up right now in the fitness industry is that piece of it. It's using technology in a really smart, really effective way versus, the negative way we talked about earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you are currently running an I Fund Women campaign as well. Can you briefly tell me about how people can get either founding memberships or sweet swag like I have, my cycling studio workout shirt that I've been wearing around town?
Absolutely. The campaign ends on the 22nd of June, so there isn't a whole lot of time left. Really, it was just a way for people to get some of the shirts and tank tops ahead of time, all the way up to if you want to sponsor a bike, then you can have your name on a bike in the studio. So there are lots of options. Really it's a way for me to raise outdoor workouts and bring the bikes out on the plaza. So there are lots of ways to get involved and ways to get connected and learn a little bit more about the studio if you check out the site.
Awesome. All right. If we want to learn more, how can we connect with you and how can we find out more about New Trail Cycling Studio?
Sure. We have a website that's up right now, newtrailcycling.com. And New Trail Cycling is also our username for Facebook and Instagram. So check those out. I'm always around town at different events giving away rides. And we're also hoping to put on a couple outdoor rides in the next couple of months before we open.